Shamps and giggles. History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Shamps and giggles back for 2024. Oh my lord.
Welcome back, one and all. Shams and Giggles. We're talking all things about Olympics. But before I go into it, you know, while you're here every Friday, we're really grateful. Spread the word for Shams and Giggles. Don't forget you can catch us on our website, which is shampsandgiggles.co.uk. We're also on Instagram at Shamps and Giggles, Facebook, Shamps and Giggles, Black Edutainment. We're also on Facebook, Shamps and Giggles. So please check us out on our social medias. Also YouTube, we're on YouTube as well. So don't forget to catch us on YouTube. And also, not saying that, TikTok, heavily on TikTok. All right. But failing that, don't forget we're on the radio each and every day. Can't get enough of us, Shamps and Giggles, because we're avid supporters of our community and businesses, black businesses, and we want to promote. All right. We're building that infrastructure to promote each and every black business there is in the UK and further afield. So please spread the word, Shamps and Giggles. So on the radio we're on a Monday, 6 till 8, blackcultureradio.com. On a Tuesday, 8 till 10, rhythmconnectionradio.com. On a Wednesday, 6 till 8, rocksolidfm.co.uk. Thursday, 6 till 8, blackcultureradio.com. On a Saturday, 10 till noon, and we're on slamradio.co.uk. And also on a Saturday evening, 6 till 8, rocksolidfm.co.uk. And back on a Sunday between 9 and 10 at night, we're on rhythmconnectionradio.com. I will bring out another radio station that we're on very soon, so watch out for that. But listen, we're going back to the brilliance of Olympics that we've been mesmerized. And it's not just us on Shamps and Giggles. I'm sure the whole nation is supporting Great Britain doing well. Go ahead, Pinky. And then we got Dion next. Go ahead, Pinky. Pinky, unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, my dear.
I was saying, I guess sometimes, like, it depends where you live, what area you're from, whether you're from London, whether you live outside of London, whether you live in Surrey. I'm saying within my area that what I've noticed over years, information is something that doesn't readily get out to everybody. Some people feel because they're educated enough, everybody should know because I can do X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it's not like that. And what I'm actually saying is that sometimes you can see talent. You can see talent within a school. I believe every child has the potential and has the talent to fulfill their potential. But if you're not shown or you're not nurtured, okay, in certain ways, then you don't get to actually fulfill your full potential. What I'm actually saying, if you're sending your child to an educational system, you would expect that those things are provided. This is why we have education, because not everybody can educate, even if it's your child. Do you understand what I'm saying?
All right. Well, we've got a couple of people got their hands up, so they may understand what you're saying. So valid point. Dion, go ahead, Dion.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk on the part in regards to getting like good deals for horse riding. So you can go on Groupon and get kind of good deals on that. That's how I was introduced with my daughter. And I used to work for a company called Connection. So they used to do loads of different activities for young people. In regards to what Pinky's saying, I hear what she's saying. But sometimes it's like for my son, he's very athletic, and it was his PE teacher. His PE teacher saw he was good at everything, so put him forward for everything. Put him forward for when he was a junior for the adults running team. My son didn't like running, even though he was one of the fastest in the school. Put him forward for rugby. Rugby wasn't really his favorite. He just loved football. And unfortunately, he was able to play professional football for Reading for a while. But normally, for sports like that, it's the teacher that kind of sees the kind of
moment.
talent, yeah, and then
Yeah.
and if really, and then kind of push them forward. If it's a good teacher and a good school, they would do that and push them to do better and tell them where they can go to enhance their skills and stuff like that. As I said before, I was a runner, and for me, it was my school. They saw that I was a good runner, and this is way back because I'm in my 50s now,
Yeah.
and I was able to access, Tooting Beck running track, and I was trained there. So I just think it depends on who you connect with, who sees your talent, and and I do feel that people do fall through the net, and information is key. But now that we've got internet and we've got Google, we've got so many different access to social media, I think information is more accessible, much more accessible than it used to be when I was young. So I think that is like giving them more of a head start.
All right. Thank you very much. Well put. Yeah, well put. Nice to know. Miss Leisha, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to second that and just jump on Dion, what you were saying. The information is there, and even if you don't, the information is on every platform that we're on. There was a time, and there is a time at the moment, where the funding to the, as well as the arts, but also to the funding to the sports was reduced a hell of a lot. And therefore they've started to look, and sports people have looked to businesses to support them, and people to support them in financial ways. And there are different creative ways that they've raised funds through other businesses and what have you. So in terms of school, I think the school has got something they can only offer so much depending on where your child is. But I think that the information's there. If you want your child to do other sports and things like that, look for it. I encourage you to look for anything that you think your child may be interested in within the area or further up from the area.
And absolutely right. Oh, very good. Community sports leader. Yeah, very good. And just moving on from what Leisha's saying, absolutely right. And most schools will have that information, and especially the sports education teacher, he will definitely, if he sees a child that's got promising attributes, he will definitely point them in the right direction. So schools, the council, online, you definitely will find the information there. And as you're saying, is that they are now they are recognizing more people for funding and helping out. It's the National Lottery. They put millions and millions of pounds through their sports federation or foundation. So yeah, they do that. So Dion and then Pinky. Go ahead, Dion.
Yeah, I just wanted to say in regards to, it's all well and good having the information and your child being good at stuff, but you have to have the dedication and the time to be able to support and push your child through. Because as I said, as my son being a professional footballer at the time, it took over my whole life. So it's one thing to say getting your children into something, but you need to have the time or have the support to be able to push them through and see them through that journey as well. And in regards to the sponsor, that they are giving more sponsorship and more investment into the athletes, is because they see how good the athletes are getting, and they want the Great Britain to be, in the running, because it does something for our country. It's good for morale, and it's good to see, us winning all these medals. So that's why they've started to invest much more into athletes than they ever have, and that lottery definitely helps. But they're taking it much more seriously than they used to, I would say, like 20 years ago, or for even 10 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, even 30 years ago. Yeah, absolutely true. Spot on, Dion. Pinky, go ahead.
No, I just think it was a shame when they cut a lot of the money that went into sports. I just feel that it was just such a shame
Yeah.
that they cut it. I mean, my qualifications that I'm showing you there, practically, I mean, that's still a qualification in circulation. I did this back in 1987, which is many moons ago.
Yeah.
But it's a qualification, and it's you know, I have my FA for football to teach football. I had my basketball, my table tennis. What I'm actually saying, back in the day, we had a thing called "What's Your Sport?" There was a lot of money put into things like that. Even teaching sports with old people, which we used to do. I used to coach older people in a thing called short mat bowls. What I'm saying is that they cut so much revenue and practically made you kind of, in a way, redundant. Okay, that's even like, and you think about, I hear what everyone's saying, but I'm coming from a different perspective where I know I've worked in that situation, I've seen how it's all dwindled away, and then we think why we've got so much crime, and then sports becomes for an elite set of people, which in sports should be for all. So when you guys are sitting down there saying, oh, well, this is what you did for your child, and this is what I understand that, but I'm actually saying that's because you've actually taken initiative and you're waiting, and some have actually said, oh, well, it starts from where a teacher might see. There are many children that you had sections where a teacher didn't need to even see that because you've got sports itself. But because they've taken away so much money from sports within schools, within the educational sector for sports, it's really dwindled it down. They've not. If you can think that it's made even someone like me virtually redundant, and that was my field to coach young people, come on. So what I'm saying is that I'm while I see football at the forefront, because you'll have a lot of clubs where children, may engage in a lot more football because that's where they seem to tend to want to push a certain amount. You don't see much for cricket. You don't see much for rowing. Although, as I said, it's now you're seeing in 1 and 2 schools where they're opening access of the Thames, and there's certain places up and down the Thames. But where we're talking about riding schools, someone living over, one end of one end of London to go to West London over to Ealing, that's one riding school. What I'm saying is it's not enough, and it's not circulated, it's not readily available. It's certain sports, it's not across the board sports.
Okay. We do understand what you're saying. I think that we'll be surprised if we did a search to find all the riding schools in London. You'll be surprised. There is some dotted all over the place.
Of course there is. What we're saying is this access. We're saying access of how you get access to that, because those things cost money as well. So if you don't have a program that meets inner city children, then they don't get that access. Let's talk sensible here. If you've got people that are working and can afford to actually do that, or can afford to, I sent my first child ballet school, the Royal Academy. Do you understand? So it's not about, it's knowing is that accessible to everyone? No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah. All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Miss Leisha, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, just again, it's about funding, and if the funding is there, then the access may not be there for those
Of course.
who are not affluent. We've also got to remember in equestrian sports, courses, etc. It's quite an expensive sport because you're looking after an animal and feeding them, keeping a home of making sure they've got medical bills to pay for, etc., etc. And people are well qualified to do the job and for anybody's safety. So it's got to cost a bit of money. So we can't expect it to cost pennies. It's got to cost a bit more than that. Again, funding.
Yeah, very true. Well, listen, everybody, I know that we can talk on and on about this. I do want to also speak about the Olympics, but on another note. And Pinky did touch on it earlier, and I just wanted to make sure that we are all in agreement. I'm going to what it is, ladies and gentlemen. There's a boxer. There's a boxer in the Olympics, and she's from Algeria. Her name is Imane Khelif.
Khelif.
Yeah.
Call it, everyone knows her by Khelif.
And the thing is that she was boxing, and they said that wanted to apologize because the Italian boxer stopped or was crying because they're saying, why is a man boxing a woman? Why is there a transgender woman fighting? But she's not. And this is
right.
the problem. And I don't know, I don't understand why people are saying,
everybody has got it, Keith, that she's a transgender. She's a transgender. They said she's changed. You can look at her and you can see that is a woman. I don't see no Adam's apple in her throat.
No.
Okay. Not only that, you know what? Let me just go to this. For me personally, because I've heard this many times, all right? Not just with this girl, Khelif. They tried it even with my girl. Somebody help me with her name, the British boxer, the black girl. Yeah, they wanted to say that she was a bit, a bit manly and a bit this, and they've done it so many times, and it always seems to be more predominantly, because I know there's been 1 and 2 white ones, which was Fatima
Whitbread.
Yeah, Whitbread. They had a thing about Fatima Whitbread, but they always went on about the way she looked and everything else. And there was one other, I can't remember, from another country. There was one other woman. But this particular girl, Khelif, I think it's really all over the net. I can't believe that people cannot. The sad thing about this for me is that imagine that we've got to the stage where a man cannot tell a woman. That's what I find sad. Okay, because there's nothing at the Olympics that can test whether she's a man or a woman at that point in time. They don't have that facilities. She's got to go away, do whatever you're doing, blah, 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 to know that she's got a proper fanny. I mean, it's really, it's ridiculous what they're doing to her. And for me, that girl, you got to watch that when that fight stopped. She knew she was going to get beaten.
Well, let's I'm gonna, before we go
That's
into
why
it.
That's why she bought Keith. She knew. They know that this girl is going to clean up the place, and that's why they don't want her. They're balling that she's a woman.
All right, well, all right, Pinky. Before I show the newsreel, Leisha's got a hand up. Go ahead, Miss Leisha.
Yeah, it's happened to 2 female Olympians in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So not just her. What was her name again? It was
the other Chinese one.
Another, Korean.
Yeah, Chinese. No, she's Chinese. I think that one's definitely Chinese. Her too. It's disgusting because they don't look feminine to you?
Okay, well, let Leisha please finish
Go
what
on,
you're trying
Leisha,
to
sorry.
say.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting because I think people just go by the way how people look, rather than what their gender is. And I like the way the news agencies write about this, because they do it very much in a PC way by mentioning that these women were assigned female at birth, and on their passports it says that they are female.
Good.
And it says that they are female, so they are female.
Good.
And if you're boxing all day and you're training the way that's unnatural for a woman, so to speak, because it was never really a sport that women would really get into. There might be physical attributes that may not be feminine identifying, if that makes sense, because they would have more muscle, a wider neck, broader shoulders, thicker arms, hips might go, and they just look a bit more, probably more,
Manly. They look a bit more manly.
look masculine.
Yeah, masculine. That's the right word.
That is that doesn't stop them from being a female. They're still a female.
Yeah.
So physically, phenotypically look like have male types, should we put in abbreviated comma, features. That doesn't stop them from being a female.
Absolutely right. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I know you won't be able to see this, but please go on the internet and search for it. BBC, they voice it. A lot of commentators are voicing it. Even it's gone political, voicing this this particular lady Khelif and the fight. So I'm just going to share this. So please,
you can tell she's a woman. I can tell she's a woman.
I'm just going to share it and play it.
Been covering is the growing controversy over the Algerian boxer Imane Khelif. She is through to the quarterfinals of the women's 66 kilo category after her opponent, Italy's Angela Carini, abandoned the bout in 46 seconds. She took just one punch to the face and then walked to her corner, where she was heard saying, "It's not right." The Italian boxer was in tears after the match. She told reporters it was the hardest punch she'd ever taken and that she had stopped the fight to preserve her life. Well, Khelif is one of two athletes who was cleared to compete in Paris despite being disqualified from last year's World Boxing Championships for failing to pass a gender eligibility test. Well, in the past hour, a spokesperson for the IOC has been speaking about the situation.
It's quite a serious case. There's an awful lot of abuse going on online, an awful lot of misinformed abuse going on online. And yes, we are in very close contact with the athletes and their entourages. But the IOC, I think, is always trying to do a balance between inclusivity and fairness, to put it more broadly, also safety. And that is a difficult one and something that we'll have to look at. But that's a entirely separate question to what's going on here, which is a woman boxer being stigmatised and forced out of potentially forced out of a competition. I think that's a different issue. But in general, in terms of safety of the athletes, we're never tired of saying is our number one concern. The athletes are at the centre, so obviously we need to look after them. We need to make sure that they're safe. And there are all sorts of safeguards, particularly in the combat sports, particularly in boxing, to make sure that remains the case.
Well, the BBC has been speaking to the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, about this issue as well. Here's what she had to say.
And I want to get your thoughts on the boxing match yesterday between Italy and Algeria. It's being billed as very controversial, over in 46 seconds. Angela Carini said she had to preserve her life. That's why she stopped the match. And Italian's PM Giorgia Meloni said it wasn't an even contest. What do you think about that?
Well, it was an incredibly uncomfortable watch for the 46 seconds that it lasted. And I know that there's a lot of concern about women competitors, about whether we're getting the balance right in not just boxing, but other sports as well. The decision that successive governments have made is that these are complex decisions that should be made by sporting bodies. In this case, for example, I understand that the biological facts are far more complicated than is being presented on social media and in some of the speculation. But I think as sporting bodies try to get that balance between inclusion, fairness and safety, there is a role for government to make sure that they've got the guidance and the framework and the support to make those decisions correctly. And it's something that I'll be talking to sporting bodies about over the coming weeks and months.
So it just shows. So what I'm saying is that it's just, why is it on and on and on? That it clearly states that she's a woman. On her birth certificate, it says that she's a woman. She's boxed as a woman, been to school as a woman, her dental records and everything is a woman. But as soon as somebody gets punched hard by a woman, they believe that she's a man. Miss Leisha, I wasn't sure if you was flexing or you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
I mean, she must have been very, very strong for her to feel that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can imagine, and it's not to say that she was wrong to think that this woman, her opponent, was a man, because she probably hadn't been hitting that hard by another woman.
Yes, I agree.
I can understand that. But what's happened is that people spin it, and the media will spin it, and all those fans will spin it, and it will put this she's Algerian, isn't it? I think
Algerian, yes.
Algerian woman almost at risk, and it's insulting to that woman. She says she's a woman. There was a South African boxer, if you remember her, who was questioned about her gender. Because she was cross-gender, wasn't she?
Yes, Y and X or something, chromosomes, or she was cross-gender, yes.
And if you imagine it as a woman, if somebody questions you about your gender, that's very, very hurtful. If you are, and you've got the bits and the organs to show that you are a woman, it can be very insulting and very painful as well to hear that.
Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. Pinky, go ahead.
What I'm saying is, before she went into the ring, there has been speculation about Khelif before. Okay, this is not the first time. That's why you need to know. So when she got into the ring with her and she got boxed the first time, she knew she would have got beaten anyway. Khelif has come to clean up. She will clean up, because that's how they've been painting her all the while. Like you said, it's hurtful. She said to she didn't question the man. She went straight and said to him, "This is not right." So by saying this is not right, you've got it in your mind that you're fighting a man. Somebody tell you outside, or whatever the rumors that are going around. Okay, already told you. So when you got that first time, you were like, no, it's not right. No, because she was going to beat you anyway. So no matter if she even tapped you, you were going to say she's a man.
Yeah, I totally agree.
They're all look, they want the girl out of the competition here, what I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah, they do.
They want her out, and they're using this thing about, this is not the first time. It's not the first time that this thing has come up about her, nor the other girl there, the other Chinese one. You can look at them and see that they're women. It's just that they might look a bit more masculine to onlookers. They don't look that feminine. They would have said that about our girl, and she's already sent her a note. What was the England boxer, the black girl? I can't remember her name now. Why is it gone?
Yeah. I know.
Nicola Adams.
Nicola Adams.
Thank you. Nicola Adams already sent Khelif a note right on the Twitter. And why you think, if you read between the lines, you will know what Nicola Adams
with that, Pinky, I have to cut you short because we have to go to break.
Already.
We have to go to break,
Pinky. Same nonsense. Nonsense.
I know.
It's nonsense. It's just discrimination all the while.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We have to go to break. So that's what I said. Champs and Giggles, we talk the things, and we are passionate about certain things, and we talk it direct. So listen, we're going to break and we'll catch you straight after this break. All right. So thank you very much.